Today's reading is Revelation 12. And a great sign appeared in heaven, a woman clothed in the sun, with the moon under her feet, and a crown of 12 stars on her head. She was pregnant and crying out in the pain and agony of giving birth. Then another sign appeared in heaven, a huge red dragon with 7 heads, 10 horns, and 7 royal crowns on his heads. His tail swept a third of the stars from the sky, tossing them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman who was about to give birth, ready to devour her child as soon as she gave birth. And she gave birth to a son, a male child, who will rule all the nations with an iron scepter. And her child was caught up to God and to his throne. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where God had prepared a place for her to be nourished for 1,260 days. Then a war broke out in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought back. But the dragon was not strong enough, and no longer was any place found in heaven for him and his angels. And the great dragon was hurled down, that ancient serpent called the devil and Satan, the deceiver of the whole world. He was hurled to the earth, and his angels with him. And I heard a loud voice in heaven saying, Now have come the salvation and the power and the kingdom of our God, and the authority of his Christ. For the accuser of our brothers has been thrown down, he who accuses them day and night before our God. They have conquered him by the blood of the Lamb, and by the word of their testimony, and they did not love their lives so as to shy away from death. Therefore rejoice, O heavens, and you who dwell in them. But woe to the earth and the sea. With great fury the devil has come down to you, knowing he has only a short time. And when the dragon saw that he had been thrown to the earth, he pursued the woman who had given birth to the male child. But the woman was given 2 wings of a great eagle to fly from the presence of the serpent to her place in the wilderness, where she was nourished for a time, and times, and half a time. Then from the mouth of the serpent spewed water like a river to overtake the woman and sweep her away in the torment. But the earth helped the woman and opened its mouth to swallow up the river that had poured from the dragon's mouth. And the dragon was enraged at the woman, and went to make war with the rest of her children, who keep the commandments of God and hold to the testimony of Jesus. And the dragon stood on the shore of the sea. This is God's word. Here in Revelation 12, John appears to be summarizing the history of redemption. A woman who stands for Israel, notice the 12 stars on her head, according to verse 1, gives birth to a baby. That's Jesus, who will rule all the nations with an iron scepter, according to verse 5. He is snatched up to God and to his throne, according to verse 5 again, and Satan is hurled down to the earth after the angelic battle, according to verses 7 through 9. The end of the chapter said that Satan went off to wage war against the rest of her offspring, those who keep God's commands and hold fast to their testimony about Jesus, according to verse 17b. But even while he was going off to wage this war, heaven is rejoicing in verses 10 through 12. The NIV says, Now have come the salvation and power and kingdom of our God, and the authority of his Messiah. Therefore rejoice, you heavens, and you who dwell in them. So there is rejoicing in heaven that Jesus is victorious, even though his victory has not yet been realized on earth. When you're watching a sporting event where the score is close and the game can turn on one play, there is incredible tension. It's hard to stay seated or sit still. People celebrate when their team makes a big play, but until the game is over, you can't really gloat. But there is gloating here, even though the war was not done. Why? Because Christ won the victory in reality, even though it had not yet played out in real time. Heaven could rejoice because there was no longer any possibility of losing. This should comfort us when things are dark and depressing on earth in the spiritual realm. When there are doctrinal defections, persecutions, rejection of the gospel, and complacent Christians, we should not lose heart or worry about the outcome. Christ has already won the war. His kingdom will prevail. There may be time left on the clock, and Satan may gain some yardage, but he will not win. This is something to remember, to hold on to dearly, and to be encouraged by during dark days spiritually. Jesus has won. There's no need to worry. Give thanks to him today, and I'll see you next time. May God bless you. Hope you have a great day.